Welcome to the Family Scoop.
where you get the scoop in 10 minutes.
I'm Maddie.
And I'm Toria.
We are students at BYU. I'm studying family studies,
And I'm studying editing and publishing with a minor in family studies.
and we love talking about families. So, let's get the scoop.
All right, on today's episode, we're going to be talking about the stages of commitment and how that looks across the lifespan. So when we were preparing for this podcast, I was thinking about what the stages of commitment could be, and my mind came across like the honeymoon phase. Is that a stage of commitment that we'll talk about?
That absolutely is. That's the first stage that we're going to talk about. And it's really cool knowing and understanding these stages, because when you understand what's happening, either with yourself in your relationship or with others, it's a lot less confusing, and it's easier to understand why you're feeling like this or why you're doing things like this. So understanding all of the stages, including the honeymoon stage, totally helps in your relationship.
Okay, this is totally random, but that really reminds me of football because all growing up, football was like super confusing. But I recently actually learned like the plays and the rules and all the calls, and that when you put it all together, it makes so much more sense and it makes it so much easier. So I feel like I'm going to have a similar experience today learning about the stages of commitment.
Oh, I totally agree. And just like when you understand football, it's so much more fun to watch.
Right?
Like when you understand the stage of life you're in, especially with your partner, like life, even if the stages aren't as easy as some previous ones, like the honeymoon stage, it still makes it fun.
That makes sense.
I know. So it's super exciting.
All right. So let's jump in and talk about these stages of commitment.
Perfect. So as a little intro, there are 6 stages, and we actually only have a time frame, and not even a specific, just a relative time frame for the first stage.
Really?
Yeah, everything else kind of goes along the timeline of your specific relationship. So every relationship is going to look different. But the thing that we know from all this research is that actually only 5% of couples make it to the final and best stage.
Is that a good thing to make it to the best stage? I mean, I guess.
I mean, yeah, I would think so. Yeah, which is crazy that only 5% of couples make it there. But hopefully with some education and knowing about the stages and what you can do to work through them, more will.
That's a good goal.
Yeah. So we'll start with the first stage, which we've kind of talked about, which is the romantic stage, aka the honeymoon stage. And this is the only stage, again, that we have a timeline for, and this is anywhere from 6 months to 2 years. And we all kind of know what the honeymoon stage looks like. It's very hard eyes and butterflies, infatuation and giggles. Like, it's a super lovely stage, but it's also unsustainable.
Mm.
Yeah, you can't stay in that stage forever because, as wonderful as it is, lovingly gazing into your partner's eyes, someone has to take the trash out, you know? You can't just be all lovey-dovey and connected at the hip forever because that's just not how life works.
Yeah, it sounds like a very innocent love.
Exactly, that's what it
You
is.
kind of have to wake up and do more.
Exactly. So while it's a really nice base for the start of relationships, they cannot stay there, which moves us into our next stage, which is adjusting to reality. So this is the stage where most people say the real relationship begins. And this is when you start to deal and realize that you have some very real differences. This can be the way that you were raised in your family of origin, differences in faith, differences in financial habits. There's just lots of different differences that come up, and understanding that you are 2 different people who are trying to become one. You're kind of realizing how big of a job that is.
Yeah, that sounds really complicated.
Exactly. Though luckily, the love doesn't go away during this stage, or really it doesn't go away at all.
Even though it's more difficult to like solve your differences when you're not gazing lovingly into each other's eyes.
Exactly. So the love is still there, but it's just a different roadblock, a different challenge to work through, but that you still should be working through together. And this, of course, we don't have a time limit for this stage, but it will be longer the more intense differences that you have as a couple. If you are ethnically different or I mean, culturally, or you have differences in religion or big differences like that, will make this stage longer because there's more to sort through.
More to adjust.
Exactly.
I feel like that would bring up more things to argue about. Does that sound plausible?
Oh, yeah,
And
100%.
How would that affect your stage in your relationship?
Yeah, so that actually is a perfect transition. The arguments kind of move us to the next stage,
Okay.
stage 3, which is called the power struggle.
Okay.
Yes, so I'm sure you can kind of get a grasp of what this stage is about, but there's more disagreements, and if ever the time, it is now to develop and use your problem solving, negotiating, and like perspective taking skills, because you will need them in this stage.
Oh my gosh, I bet.
Yeah. And this stage, success in this stage really requires patience and humility and remembering the love that you still have. Once again, the love doesn't go away, but it can be harder to see.
Interesting. Yeah, I've always heard my parents talk about how, like, or any parents say, like, marriage is so hard. And then I got married and I was like, marriage is so easy. And then it got hard.
Exactly.
All those skills are so necessary. And I'm no expert, but in my own marriage, yeah, even taking out the trash, like you said earlier, is sometimes hard. Like, it's a point of contention and you have to solve those issues and those problems that come up. And that takes a lot of work.
Exactly. Marriage is work. It is fantastic work,
Right.
but it is work.
Right. Because my love, like, that hasn't gone anywhere.
Exactly.
And I still have those moments where we do gaze into each other's eyes lovingly, but then we have to do the dishes.
Exactly. Nope, that's how it is. And so that's a big thing with the power struggle is a lot of people are scared that they lose love here. They don't. It's just normal to have stages where you disagree a little bit more, which is totally fine. But that normally leads us to the next stage, which is re-evaluation. So you have already decided to be in this relationship with this person. You've, gotten married, you've spent time together, you've combined your lives, all these things. And then with this power struggle, you're like, wait, do I know this person? Like, who did I marry?
Yeah.
Type deal. And so this reevaluation stage is when not only reality takes effect, but you also start feeling these fears. You're like, what if I was wrong? Like, what if this isn't, my one and only, my soulmate? Like, there's some really real fears that come during this reevaluation stage. And normally you will disengage, like emotionally and physically during this stage, just because you feel pretty unstable.
Interesting.
Yeah, and of course we don't have like a specific time of life or time frame for it, but very often this reevaluation stage is found during the midlife crisis. It's a big part of it because you're kind of unstable and reevaluating all of your decisions in life. So
That would make sense.
exactly. And then to get out of this reevaluation stage, you have to choose to re-engage in the relationship. If you choose not to re-engage, you basically have two options. You either get divorced or you become roommates. Like you just don't have that connection anymore.
Yeah.
Which is super sad. But
there's a third option, right?
there is okay, yes, I should have said that. There's also a third option, which is choosing to re-engage, making that choice. And that brings us to our fifth stage, which is reconciliation. And this has the stage starts when you decide to re-engage again, and you basically are able to fall in love in a much deeper way. Scientists will call it like the second honeymoon. I know, it's cute. Because not only are you falling in love again and learning how to gaze into each other's eyes lovingly again, but you're also doing this with the knowledge and understanding of who this person truly is. You've seen their sides, you've seen their aspects, the different things that you may or may not agree with, and you still chose to keep going. So it's a much deeper love.
Wow. That's profound.
I know, it's so exciting.
And I guess not very many people get there because would you say that fourth stage of the reevaluation is kind of the stopping point for quite a lot of marriages?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And especially, social media and just media in general, movies and TV shows, they make it seem like you hit this wall in your marriage and you're just there forever. You're just stuck,
Yeah,
which is
like a dead-end job. Like, it's just like, this is it
exactly,
forever.
exactly.
But it's not.
No, not even a little bit. And so you get to have this really fun second honeymoon reconciliation stage where it's all love and giggles and hard eyes again, just on a deeper level. But then you get to move on to the sixth and final stage, which is the best stage ever, which, once again, only about 5% of couples get to, which is the acceptance phase. So this is where you are supportive of each other's growth in all different aspects. You completely disclose everything and you have like this full trust in each other. And this is a beautiful stage of growth individually because you are now so safe and so stable in your relationship that you can be like, honey, I want to try this. I want to become a teacher. I want to write a book. I want to do all these things. And you trust that your spouse is going to be like, heck yeah, go for it. Like, this is going to be so exciting for you. So it's this really big stage of individual growth because you're now so stable in your relationship.
Wow, that sounds awesome.
I know, isn't it so fun?
Yeah, but it sounds like it's not easy peasy just to get there. So it takes a lot of work to get there. One day, I hope I get there.
Me too.
But it sounds
agree.
like it's worth it.
I couldn't agree more. The road through not only life, but especially life with deep and meaningful relationships is a bumpy one. But man, is the view spectacular, and it is such a fun adventure the whole time.
That's so sweet.
So never forget that even though there will be some road bumps in the ahead, and there will be times of disagreement, and there'll be times of challenge, and there will especially be times of choice where you have to choose to re-engage and choose to get back into your loving relationship, it is all so much worth it. What is your relationship worth it in the end? Is the question that we can ask ourselves.
Yeah, like what are you willing to put into it to get back out, to be that 5% that makes it?
Exactly.
Well, that's awesome. Awesome. What a great episode we've had. I feel like I've learned so much. I have so many new goals.
I'm really glad. Thanks for joining today.
Yeah, thanks for listening. Make sure to join us next week on The Family Scoop, where we will be discussing peer pressure and what's going on inside your teenager's brain.
We also have an Instagram account, so check out The Family Scoop to see posted content as well as the references to the studies we've mentioned in our podcast episodes.
See you guys next week on The Family Scoop.